Oh, welcome to another edition of Let's Talk Show. I'm your host, Andrew James, and it's my honor and privilege today to have with us two-time Olympian champion, Miss Marian Burnett.
Thank you, Mr. James, for introducing me to your talk show. And it's a pleasure being here today.
Excellent. Marian, I before I start, I just want to say, thank you for all that you've done for Mackenzie High School and for the township of Linden. You have actually put map on the world map, and I think this is remarkable. Not a lot of people can comfortably in say, you know what, I did this for my city. I want to salute you for your service to Linden and to Guyana. As a young student, I always used to admire you because I used to suffer from asthma. I was asthmatic, and my ability to run was altered by my sickness. I just couldn't. I think there was something with the bauxite dust that used to affect my lungs, and I just wasn't able to run. So as a young guy, I always used to look up to you and says, well, one day I want to be as fast of a sprinter as Miss Marian Burnett. It never happened, but you know what? I'm glad that 20 years later we can sit down and we can have a conversation together. So I got a few questions to you, and if we can have this conversation, if you can tell me about yourself, Marianne, and share with me a little bit of what was life like, what was your experience like at Mackenzie High School?
Yes, my name is Marian Burnett, and was just a inter-house girl running at Mackenzie High School, and I was part of the Blackett House.
Hmm.
All I want to do is just win. And I used to gather up all my friends, even the ones don't even like track and know anything about track, so that they can just participate and they can win inter-house or Blackett House. Blackett House is one of the best house, and yes, in my opinion. And it was
Okay.
really, huh? It was fun being there. Even Interhouse was the best at Mackenzie House. Carol's, Cambridge House, Blackett House. Blackett House always up front. And
Don't
the
forget
top,
Grand Toast, eh?
oh yeah, Grant House. Grant House wasn't used to win anything. That's why I couldn't remember Grant House. But it was fun, and I recently connected to Lawrence James, and it was nice having a conversation with him. He was
Right.
proud of me, and Sonia Daniels. It was proud for my achievement. I graduated from junior college, get my associate, and then I went to university and I graduated in two bachelors at LSU University, and then I continued my career from 2003 to 2010,
Hmm.
competing and representing Guyana, and I was once sponsored by Nike for my achievement because and the reason why I end up with two bachelor's degree at LSU because at the time when I finished one in May, I wasn't running fast enough to get a contract. And
Hmm.
the same year between 2004 December when I was about to graduate, I got a contract because I run my PR, which is 159.47, and it's still standing as a national record. And
Wow.
that was a blessing. And from there onwards, I run for a few years and I retired in 2010. And now I have two young athletes coming up. Boy
Excellent.
and a girl, they know they're gonna be 7 and 9 this year. And I'm pushing in terms of academic is very important. So I'll be on them. They get the same spanking that I used to get when I was small in terms of taking in my academics. So
Very, very powerful stuff. Thank you for being so relaxed and open to sharing with us. I think it's important, and one of the takeaways, if I may, based on what you just said, I think in life, Marianne, it's usually not where you start, and I appreciate you sharing the fact that you came from St. Aidan's and this and that, and you started in Form 2. Um, I'm going to say this to you personally, and for anyone watching, it's not important where you start, but it's extremely important where you finish.
I agree.
I'm comfortable in my skin to say that I have had a really nice time at Mackenzie High School. When it came to academics, I wasn't the smartest. I used to do okay. But when it came to where I'm living currently, I acquired a couple stuff, but I'm fair to I'm comfortable in my skin to say I have a couple diplomas. I got some CGA level 2 and stuff like that. But in terms of degrees, I don't have any degrees, and I'm proud and I'm comfortable in myself to say I don't. So I admire you to share where you started. It was a rough road for you, this and that. But look at where you are today. So in summary, don't focus on where you start. My advice is to focus on where you finish. Focus on the finish line, if I may. Um, can you tell us about who? I know you mentioned a couple names, Sonia Daniels and the late Bertram Hamilton and stuff like that. Can you tell us, just in a nutshell, who was your favorite teacher and what was your favorite subject, if you don't mind me asking you that?
I think one of my favorite teacher is Sonia Daniels, and
Hmm.
it was geography. Because no matter how hard I think it is, she always encouraged me to do it, and she always assists me. If I don't know it, she will help me.
Powerful stuff. Marianne, what advice would you give to current Mackenzie High School students? And it can be more so on academics, on the athletic side of the world, but just in general, what would be your advice? This is your opportunity to influence change and impact the life of some young person. If you were to say one or a couple words to a young person, what would it be? The floor is yours.
First thing I will advise a young athlete, if you want to be an athlete, you have to have academics. Because if you don't have your subject, you need to get good grades from grade 1 to 3 or better. If you don't have that, there is no opportunity for you to get into a university. And if you don't get a 5 subject to get in a university, it's important that you get English and math and some other subject. And you could also go to a 2 year school, which you call it junior college, which is you get an associate degree. But when you go to the junior college, it's for 2 years, and when you go to the university, it's for 4 years. So it's important that you take in your education and listen to your teachers. And if you don't understand, you gotta ask questions. If you don't ask, you will know. So if you have a hard time with a subject, including maths or English, you need help, you gotta ask the teacher and see how they can support you. But academics is very, very important as a student, athletes, or even in general as a person.
Excellent stuff. Powerful. I don't want to butter you up too much, Marianne, but I appreciate all that you've doing, all that you've done, and all that you continue to do. I'm going to ask you a slightly personal question. I don't mean to be presumptuous, but do you mind sharing with us what you do in your current world of work, if possible?
Well, right now I'm presently working at university. I went to Louisiana State University, and I'm working with student athletes like I was before with academics. What I do on a daily basis, I will have one-on-one session with students in different sports. I work with all sports. So they will be one-on-one, we be together for an hour. And when they come in the session, I will check the syllabus, whatever subject they're doing. If it's 5 subject, we go through every classes. And we did like a yearly calendar for the year for each subject. So by monthly, we will check to see what they have coming up, and I try to make sure they study for the exam. And if they make sure they schedule the exam, prepare them for the exam. And also we have to tell the advisor what's coming up, and we do like a report every day in terms of what they have coming up and what is finished and the grades and stuff, and all that go to the coaches and the director of the university. So my goal is to make sure my student athlete be successful in academics in terms of getting an A, B, C. I never want no D. You got to make
Mhm.
sure you be the best in my group. And most of my student athletes, they graduate. And my
Oh,
my goal is to make sure advise them not just about academics, but in general as a person. If track doesn't work out, you need something to fall back on. So
powerful stuff. In terms of a legacy, can we expect to see a little future Marian Burnett? Can we expect to see a future little sprinter? Are you still running, and are your kids following your path towards taking part in sports? If you don't mind sharing a little private part about you.
well, I'm not doing any track and field in terms of competition anymore, but I'm staying fit in general. Like 3 times a week, I just get something done. But I have my son, he play baseball for American baseball, and he's one of the best on the team. So I'm looking forward to the future that he be in the baseball on a big professional team playing baseball, making a lot of money. And my daughter, she admires Serena Williams, so she's in tennis right now. So in the future, we looking forward to see 2 junior star coming out from Marian Burnett in the
I like
future.
that. I like that. I wish you could say the same, but I personally don't have kids. And I don't know if I ever will, but
Waiting
we'll
on.
see. We'll see. We'll see what life deals me. Just in closing, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for being a part of the group. But I have a last question for you. Marian, um, the advice that you're giving us is, I don't think you realize how powerful it is, but we want to use this platform to influence change in a very positive way in the life of many students back home. I think fundamentally what this organization, what the group is aspiring to do is to influence change in the lives of students back home. So my question to you, and I hope I don't catch you off guard. It's a strategic question, but my question to you is this: what do you think we can do as a group to influence change in the life of a current student back home at Mackenzie High School? As a group, as an organization, what do you think is one specific area that we can do to make a huge impact? The floor is yours.
Okay, I think if we have like young talent athletes is going to Mackenzie High or wherever they're going, I think it's important that we make sure they get the tools in terms of they need a laptop. Encourage that we have a group together, get all the kids together, make sure they go to lesson on time, communicate with the parents, just to make sure they get the academic strong background in terms of going to the next level. And we need to assist them because a lot of kids cannot afford it to have a laptop or a computer or can't afford to get a uniform or shoes. But in terms as we as adults, we can get together and make sure we support the young talent athletes in terms of their success.
Powerful
And
stuff. Go
not
ahead.
cutting you,
Sorry.
not cutting you. And my goal right now, I just recruit two kids from Mackenzie High School. I brought up to America on scholarship. Shantova Bright and Danielle Williams on a full scholarship. And I also have Andrea Foster. So my goal, I'm not competing anymore. But what I can do, and I'm putting back into the sport, is to recruit kids from Guyana and get them come on a full scholarship. And also mentor them as they're in America. I try to mentor them and make sure they stay in the same path. Some of them might make it to the professional level like me, but at least I'm gonna make sure they get the degree in terms of graduating. So that's what I'm doing right now for kids in Guyana. It don't have to be Mackenzie High School. It got to be Guyana in the O. So I'm having like 5 kids coming up in August on full scholarship, going different university and junior college. So that's what I promise to do until I have the time where I can coach. Right now I can't coach because I have my young kids. I don't have that time to do all of that. So my
Very,
goal is to give back to Guyana by recruiting kids from Guyana, get them on a full scholarship. If they need certain assistance financially, if I can, I do it. If not, I try to find somebody to help them out.
very, very powerful stuff. Very, very touching. You know, it's really really rough to sit there and listen to you talk because the sad reality is that there might be someone listening who might even be in a better position than both you and myself in terms of finances, and they might be sitting there and wondering like, how can I do it? And how can I do it what Marianne is doing? But I mean, you just got to find the will in yourself and do it. Work with an organization, work with someone who has the connection, and influence change in a positive way. Marianne, on behalf of the admin team of the MHS 90s crew, I want to take this opportunity to thank you very much and to encourage you to continue doing what you're doing. You're leaving impressionable footprints in the life of many students back home, and everything you're doing is duly noticed and duly noted and does not go unnoticed. It might be in your mind simple, but for someone like me, it's heartwarming, and I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Um, you are like a lighthouse to me. I see you as a lighthouse, and you have this enormous ability to lead kids and guide them in the right direction. And you can do that by starting with your own kids and reaching out to those in your inner circle. On behalf of the group, I want to thank you very much for taking this opportunity to meet and chit chat with us. Thank you very much. God bless you, and have a good day, Marian.
Thank you, Andrew. Thanks for having me on your show.
We'll
You
be
can
in touch.
contact me anytime.
We'll be
Yes,
in touch. This conversation will continue. Take care.
yes.
God bless you. Thank you.
Mhm.
Bye.